Shocking and urgent, the Washington Commanders shake up the market right before the divisional game against Detroit. Last-minute moves that could define our season. What's happening in the locker room is unbelievable. First bombshell, the team has just made crucial adjustments to its roster. 3 new Warriors join the battle while we lose a key soldier. The head coach's decision has everyone in DC buzzing. Is this the move we needed to take down the Lions? Second explosion, the NFL has just dropped a bomb on one of our most important defensive players. A controversial find that could impact our divisional game. The league is sending a message, but at what cost to our team? Third revelation, a Commanders player reveals a shocking truth that's moving the entire NFL. A story of overcoming challenges that goes beyond the field and is inspiring thousands. Don't miss a second of these explosive revelations rocking the entire NFL. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this is just the beginning. Hail to the Commanders! Want to know all the details? Stick around until the end because this information will change your perspective on the team forever. You won't believe what's happening in Washington. Are you ready for the bombshell the team just dropped ahead of the divisional game against the Lions? Let me tell you, this is big, really big, and we need to talk about this right now. The Commanders just made a move that could change everything about this divisional matchup. Colson Yankoff has been activated off injured reserve, and let me tell you something, this move is no coincidence. Is it enough to face these Lions playing like they're possessed? I think every piece matters in these critical moments, and Yankoff, even though he's mainly been a special teams player, brings that spark we desperately need. But wait, there's more, much more. They've also elevated Andre Jones Jr. and Kevin Seymour from the practice squad. And you know what? I'm telling you, this move shows that Dan Quinn is playing chess while others are playing checkers. Jones Jr. gives us the defensive rotation that could be crucial against Detroit's explosive offense, and Seymour, who already proved his worth against the Bucs in the wild card round, adds the experience we need in the secondary. Now, let me be completely honest with you, losing Jordan McGee, who's going to injured reserve with a hamstring injury, hurts a lot. This rookie had been giving us solid moments, and losing him now feels like a sucker punch. But that's football, there's no time for pity. And here's where it gets interesting because I ask you, are these last-minute moves showing desperation or strategic brilliance? Because playing in Ford Field against these hungry Lions roaring louder than ever, we need every possible advantage. And honestly, I think Quinn is seeing something we're not. Activating Yankoff isn't just about depth, it's a clear message that we need every weapon in our arsenal. And Jones Jr.? This guy is hungry. He has something to prove, and what better stage than a divisional game to show what he's made of? Seymour is a completely different story. He's been in high-pressure situations before, and his performance against Tampa Bay wasn't a coincidence. Quinn knows exactly what he's doing by bringing him back for this critical moment. And let me be perfectly clear with you, these moves could mean the difference between watching the NFC Championship game from home or playing in it. Quinn is going all in, putting all his chips on the table, saying, we're going for it all, and that, my friends, is exactly what we need right now. And you know what else? I'm telling you, this team has something special. There's a chemistry, an energy you can't put into words. And these last-minute moves? They're like the final pieces of a puzzle that could reveal something extraordinary. So now I ask you, loyal Commanders fans, do you think these last-minute adjustments will be enough to silence Ford Field tonight? Or did we need to make bolder moves for this crucial game? Because let me tell you something, in the playoffs, every decision, every move, every second counts. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. ET, and this promises to be an epic battle. Don't miss a single second of a night that could be historic for our franchise. Every play matters, and these Commanders are ready for war. Scandal in Washington. And let me tell you something, this isn't just any news. The NFL punishing one of our starters right before the divisional game? You've got to be kidding me. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, and I want you to hear me loud and clear. Dorrance Armstrong Jr. just got slapped with an $11,255 fine. And do you know why? For grabbing Racket White in the third quarter of the game against the Buccaneers. 11 grand! Is this a joke? I think the NFL is sending a very clear message, but let me ask you, don't you think this is a bit excessive? And here's the real kicker. Out of the 17 fines the NFL handed out from Wild Card Weekend, Armstrong's is among the top 6 most expensive. Top 6? Coincidence? I don't think so. Now, Let me put this into perspective for you. Armstrong has been a beast this season. 5 sacks, 39 total tackles, 7 tackles for loss. This man has been dominating. It's his first year with the Commanders, and he's already making noise. But these kinds of penalties, we cannot afford them. And let me tell you something else. We're up against the Lions, the NFC's #1 seed. Do you know what that means? We need every player to play with discipline. We cannot give away 15 yards on unnecessary penalties. Not against these Lions. And here's what's even more concerning. This type of fine can mess with a player's psyche. It makes you second guess, hesitate before making an aggressive play. And I ask you, is that what we want for one of our best defensive players before the biggest game of the season? The NFL is sending a crystal clear message. They're watching every move, every tackle, every play. And while I get the need to protect players, I also have to ask, are we softening the game too much? Where do we draw the line between safety and keeping the physical essence of football alive? And here's my final point. Armstrong needs to find the perfect balance this weekend. We need his aggressiveness, his intensity, but we also need him to play smart. Because let me tell you something, against Detroit, every yard counts, every possession is pure gold. So now I ask you, Commanders family, do you think this fine will affect how Armstrong plays against the Lions? Will we see a more cautious Armstrong, or will this only fuel his fire? And remember my words, these kinds of NFL decisions could have a huge impact on how our divisional game unfolds. We can't afford costly penalties, not against this Detroit team playing their best football in decades. Drop your comments. Do you agree with the fine? Do you think the NFL is being too strict? Because let me tell you something, this weekend, we need the best Armstrong possible, disciplined yet dominating, controlled yet unstoppable. Our postseason future could depend on it. Do you remember that viral moment with Zane Gonzalez before the field goal against Tampa Bay? Let me tell you, there's so much more behind what we saw. And let me be completely honest with you, this isn't just about a kicker adjusting his sock or fixing his hair. This is about courage. Zane Gonzalez just opened his heart to share his battle with obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and I ask you, isn't this bigger than football? Absolutely! Let me share something that deeply moved me. Gonzalez has been dealing with OCD since he was a kid. Can you imagine spending 3 hours writing the same letter over and over again? 3 hours! And here is this man, on the biggest stage in football, facing his challenges in front of millions of people. And do you know what's most impressive? How he and his wife Lizzie handle the situation. Instead of getting upset at comments on social media, what do? They laugh. Because let me tell you something, that's how you face adversity. But here's the most important part, Gonzalez is using his platform for something bigger. He's receiving messages from people with OCD who thank him for shedding light on this condition. And do you know what? That is more valuable than any field goal. And speaking of field goals, this man is producing. 5 out of 7 field goals, perfect on extra points, and all this after joining the team mid-season. Coincidence? I don't think so. Dan Quinn put it perfectly, and I completely agree. If this story helps even one person, it's already worth it. Because football is important, of course it is, but there are bigger battles fought off the field. And now I ask you, isn't this exactly what we need to see more of in sports? Athletes being honest about their struggles, showing that they're human just like the rest of us? Listen, let me tell you something. This weekend, when Zane steps onto the field in Detroit, he won't just be kicking for a win. He'll be representing everyone who battles unseen challenges every day. And that, my friends, is bigger than any game. And do you know what else? Special teams coach Larry Izzo is right. At the end of the day, Gonzalez does his job, and he does it well. But let me tell you what this story teaches us, that our apparent weaknesses can become our greatest strengths. Now I ask you, what do you think of Gonzalez's bravery in sharing his story? Do you think it will help change the conversation around mental health in sports? Drop your comments. Because this story goes beyond football, beyond the Commanders, beyond sports. This is a story about being human, overcoming challenges, and finding the strength to shine even in the darkest moments. And remember my words. When Zane steps onto the field this Saturday, he won't just be kicking for a win, he'll be inspiring thousands to face their own battles with courage and determination. That is worth more than any touchdown. And now, Commanders family, I want to hear your voices in this conversation that unites us as a community. What do you think of these last-minute adjustments for the game at Ford Field? Will they be enough to contain the Lions, or did we need to be more aggressive in our decisions? Armstrong's fine has stirred up a lot of controversy, and I want your take. Do you think we'll see a more cautious Armstrong, or will this situation only ignite his warrior spirit on the field? Gonzalez's courage in sharing his battle with mental health has touched us all. How do you think his testimony will impact the future of our sport? Family, this channel is more than just news. We're a community that lives and breathes football with passion. If you're not part of this family yet, I invite you to subscribe, turn on the notifications, and join this incredible community of passionate fans. Your comments and opinions are vital to keeping this conversation alive. And remember, hail to the Redskins!